Hello. Oh, I need to turn this off. Welcome to Abs and Core. I am Jazzy, program manager here with Exosat Autodesk, and I have a good workout plan for us today. It's not going to be as intense as all of our planks we did the other day, I promise. But you are going to need a set of dumbbells, and we are going to be working for 40 seconds, and then we're going to use 20 seconds for rest / transition time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started demonstrating everything for y'all today. So we are going to start off, we're going to be on the ground the whole time, and we're going to start off on our hands and knees. So with that being said, if you would like to start on your toes, feel free to do so. But we're going to aim here to really work on our core and our shoulders. So what we're going to do is kneeling plank arm raises. So we're going to be on our hands and knees, one straight line from our knees to our butt to our shoulders. And from here, we're going to keep that core nice and tight, keep our hips facing down. We're going to lift one arm up, back down, other arm, and back down. So we're going to alternate here, lifting one arm at a time, going nice and slow. It's going to help us work on shoulder stability because we got to plant one arm and keep that shoulder strong. And then it's keeping our core tight because as we move one arm up, we got to keep that core facing down, our hips facing down. We got headlights in our hips behind the ground. And so it's going to work on our core there as well. And then we're going to go ahead and stay on our hands and knees, but on this time we're going to be in more of that tabletop position here. So we have a nice flat back, keeping that core tight. We're going to sink a little bit into our hips. We're going to do some quadruped opposites here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg, extend. We're going to hold for 3 seconds, and then we're going to return back to center. So then extending opposite arm, opposite leg, hold for 3 seconds, and back down. So that is going to be the second thing. So Heather, welcome. I'll show you our first thing we're going to do, our plank kneeling arm raises. So what we're going to do is we are going to be on the hands and knees like we were before, and then extending one arm at a time. So that's going to be the first thing. And then we're going to do our quadruped opposites, extend, hold. I'm going to kick the couch or something. I'm too tall for this space right now. So that's going to be our second thing. And then after that, we're going to do full sit-ups. So what we're going to do is we're going to be on the ground. Our legs are going to be extended the whole time. Find a good angle for this. So we're going to start laying flat on the ground, arms above head. We're going to exhale, use our core, come up, touch our toes, and back down. So really here, the important part is to not use momentum. We want to use the core, exhale, come up. We want to keep those heels on the ground as we reach up and touch the toes. So that's the goal there. And then we're going to do some butterfly sit-ups. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our palms together, knees out. We're going to come from the same position here. So instead of having our legs straight, we're going to come out. We're going to come up, touch our toes, keep those feet on the ground, back down, exhale, touch the toes, and then back down. So that is going to be our fourth movement. And then for the last two, we will need dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, that is totally fine. We don't have to use them, but this will add just a little bit of extra tension to help us engage our core a little bit better. So for this first thing that we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and do some twists with the dumbbell. So we're going to start kneeling here for this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold our dumbbell all the way out in front. We're going to inhale, turn to one side, exhale, come back to center, and then inhale, turn to the other side, exhale, come to center. So what we really want to do here is we want to pull ourselves. So as we're facing this way, we're pulling ourselves nice and slow, using that core, rotating back to center. So if you feel it more with that dumbbell, either at your side, you can always hold 2 dumbbells at your shoulders, whatever feels best. I actually might do that because I was feeling that more in my arms and my core, holding them straight out. So that's going to be the standing twists there. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to do a dead bug hold with our dumbbells. So this is going to engage our core a little bit more. So we're going to hold our hands right above our shoulders here, and then pressing that belly button into the ground, knees above the hips, 90-degree angles in those knees. We're pressing that belly button into the ground the whole time. It's going to really help us engage our core in a different way. So that is going to be our whole workout today. We are moving through 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. So that is going to be our timing for today. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm up. So we're going to start on our hands and knees. We're going to do a little bit of cat-cow. We're going to find our neutral spine by doing this. So we're going to over-exaggerate each direction in order to find that neutral spine. So we're going to take a nice big deep breath. So we're going to inhale, curve our backs, looking up towards the ceiling. And we're going to exhale, pushing our back towards the ceiling. And going at our own breath, our own pace, we're going to inhale, come up. And as we exhale, we go into the opposite way. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more. Opening up our spine, getting some movement through our spine here. Even getting a little bit of shoulder warm up. And we're going to go ahead and do 1 more. We can go ahead and finish in our neutral spine. So we over-exaggerated each way, and now our back is nice and flat. And from here, we're just going to do a couple quadruped rocks going back and forth, get our core working a little bit. So by doing this, we're just making sure that we're keeping that core tight. As we rock back, our hips are not going to sink back and dip over. So our core is staying tight. So our back is flat the whole time. So we're just going to do a couple of these to really make sure our core is locked and loaded, ready to go. This is a great way to make sure our core is engaged. And 1 more, rocking back and coming forward. Awesome. All right. And the last part of our warm up here, since we're doing some rotation here, we're going to do a little bit of reach through and opening up. So I'm going to start with my left arm. I'm going to inhale, reach through, and exhale, open up towards the ceiling, watching our thumb as we get up towards the ceiling, and then inhaling, reaching through, and exhale, opening up, and 1 more inhale, reach through, and exhale, opening up. And we can go ahead and plant that hand back under our shoulder. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, reach through. And exhale, open up. Here on my hand. And inhale, reach through. And exhale, open up. And 1 more inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And we can go ahead and plant that hand. And I think we are ready to rock and roll. So we're starting off with our kneeling plank arm raises, using that core here in our shoulders. We got 40 seconds going in 3, 2, 1. So on our hands and knees, we got 1 straight line from our head all the way to our knees. We're going to exhale, lift that arm above head and back down, making sure we're keeping those shoulders above our arms. We want to try and prevent ourselves from rotating as we lift up. So we got those headlights on our hips. We are blinding the ground with our hips the whole time. We're using that core to keep everything nice and tight. The slower we move, the harder we work. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we're going to do our quadruped opposites. We're going to hold with the opposite arm, opposite leg extending for 3 seconds. And then back to center. It's really going to help us engage that core, work on our core a lot. 3, 2, 1. So that back is nice and flat. We're going to extend opposite arm, opposite leg, not twisting. We're holding for 3 seconds and back down. And then other side, 1, 2, 3, and back down. So really making sure that our back is nice and flat. So our core is engaged. We don't want to have any dips in our low back here. We also want to really kind of sink into our hips a little bit so the glutes are past the knees, not directly over. So by sinking into the back, we're going to have a little bit more stability. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our full sit-up. So we're going to have our legs. That's what these are, my legs. We're going to have them all the way outstretched. We're going to come up and touch our toes, and then we'll do the butterfly sit-ups after that. 3, 2, 1. So nice and straight legs. Exhaling, coming up, touch the toes, and back down. So really making sure that we're keeping those heels on the ground as much as we can. We don't want to use momentum. We also don't want to use our legs to get ourselves all the way up. You also might notice that you're starting to move a little bit. I tend to move backwards. I don't want to hit my head on the couch today. Exhaling, coming up. Exhaling really helps us engage that core. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, butterfly sit-up. So similar to the last thing we just did, our feet are going to be touching each other with the soles of our feet. I almost called them palms. Those are our hands. These are our soles. All right, 3, 2, 1. So same thing, we're touching the ground above our head, exhaling, coming up, touching the toes. So keeping those feet together and keeping our feet on the ground. Using our core, not using momentum, not using the legs. So after teaching this class for the last 2 weeks, I have not worked my core this much ever. But it'll help my squats be better. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have our twists with the dumbbells. So we're going to be in a tall kneeling position. We're going to twist all the way to one side. And if you don't have dumbbells, you can just twist this way and pull yourself back to center. 3, 2, 1. So we're turning. We want our hips to stay a little bit more forward, shoulders pointed to the other way. Exhale, bringing ourselves back to center. We're going nice and slow through this. Really making sure we're just twisting, using our core. We're pulling ourselves back, really engaging that core. So it helps us to engage our core by actually we're crushing an apple right here, or that someone's about to punch us in the stomach, and we're bracing ourselves for that. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I know that one can be a little bit misleading. It can be, if you find it to be really, really easy and you don't feel it in your core, that means that we're not using the core enough there. So really tough one there, but we have our dead bug holds next. 3, 2, 1. So if you don't have dumbbells, that is okay. You can just hold your arms above hold your hands above your shoulders, but we're pushing our belly button towards the ground, keeping that low back on the ground. It's going to really engage our core in a different way, making sure our knees are above the hips. The closer the knees are to the chest, the less the core is going to be engaged. So really important to make sure our knees are directly above the hips. So it's not like with our quad opposites where we wanted those glutes past the knee. 3, 2, 1. I think that would be a fun challenge if we did like who could hold that the longest. Maybe we'll start doing that. All right, starting at the top, we have our kneeling plank arm raises. So on our hands and knees, we have a nice flat back. 3, 2, 1. So shoulders above the hands. I now feel this way more in my core than the first round. Now that we've done a little bit more core, the core is nice and awake. Exhaling as we lift the arms up, keeping our core engaged as we lift that arm up. You should feel that all the way through our torso. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our quad opposites with that 3-second hold. So we're extending, holding for 3 seconds, bringing it back in. And we're getting ready for that in 3, 2, 1. So hands below the shoulders, knees slightly under the hips. Our back is nice and flat. And we're going to exhale, extend opposite arm, opposite leg, hold for 3, and back down. And then same thing on the other side. Hold for 3, and back down. So if you see, as I extend, I'm not lifting my leg any higher than my glutes. The higher we lift it, the more at risk we are for using our back, for arching our back. We just want to squeeze through the glutes, kick back, hold it. 3, 2, 1. All right. I feel like there's quite a few things on here that could potentially be easy, but the more correctly you do it and the more you use your core, the harder it's going to be. All right, we have our full sit-ups next. So our legs are going to be nice and straight. 3, 2, 1. I feel like this one is the one that really gets my core going. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, feel free. You can grab a dumbbell and you can come up, bring the dumbbell towards your toes. I don't even know the best way to hold this. I guess like this would be the best way. So that way you're getting a little arm action, arm strength, you're getting that core strength in. But be careful that if you lift it below your head, you're not using that momentum. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have our butterfly sit-ups. So I almost said palms again. The soles of our feet are together. I guess they're the palms of the feet, but technically they're not called that. All right, we're gonna get ready here. 3, 2, 1. So same thing as before. That one felt a lot harder probably because I added that dumbbell in. Great job. Keep pushing, use that core. I feel like the weather is agreeing with us right now because the sun just came out. It's been way too cloudy up here. Great job. Exhaling, coming back up, touching those toes. Try not to use momentum. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have our twists. So really on this one, it's important to really engage that core. So we're crushing that apple, we're acting like someone's going to punch us. And that's what's going to help us engage the core as we exhale and we turn. We want to flex our core as we pull ourselves. All right, we are going. So we're inhaling, exhaling, pulling through the core, like we're flexing our core here. Also important that if you're looking from this angle here, I'm not arching my back. My hips are directly below the shoulders. So we inhale, turning away, exhale, turning back. So we're going to keep moving like this. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice job. All right, we got our last part. We got our dead bug hold. And then we're going to go through one more time. Then we're just going to do a little bit of stretching. All right, we're getting ready. We're on our backs. 3, 2, 1. So push that belly button towards the ground, knees 90-degree angles directly above the hips. The more we actively force our belly button into the ground, the more that core is going to be engaged. But keep breathing as we're holding. Use the core. Starting to feel it in my hips. Don't know about anyone else. We're almost there. Keep pushing. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last round. Coming on up, we got our kneeling plank arm raises. Grab some water. Been talking all day, man. 3, 2, 1. Definitely start to get a bit of dry mouth when I'm talking all day. People always ask me how I drink so much water. And it's because my mouth is either dry, I'm just so thirsty and trying to make sure that I'm staying hydrated as I talk all day. Keeping that core tight. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our quadruped opposites. Holding for 3 seconds at the top as we're extending our opposite arm and opposite leg. 3, 2, 1. So keeping that core tight. So pelvis is tucked, butt to belly button. Lock it in place with the core. We extend, hold for 3. Hips are pointed down. So we got those headlights on our hips. Blinding the ground, we're not opening up. So hips are down. That's what's going to help us really engage our core here. The more we twist open, the more we're taking our core out of it. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. We only got 4 more exercises to go. And then we're going to do a little bit of rotation as we cool down. All right, full sit-ups are next. We're going to have our feet all the way out in front of us. 3, 2, 1. We're down below. Coming up. Touch the toes. We're going to grab our dumbbell again. That was fun. It's fun to do weighted core exercises sometimes, but they're not always necessary. But sometimes, I mean, the abs are just like any other muscle in the body. So we do need to progressively get better at them, whether it's adding reps, time, weight, anything. We still are going to need that if we want to grow a stronger core. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our butterfly sit-ups. So we're going to have our feet together. Same thing that we were doing before. Then we got this and then 2 more. 3, 2, 1. So we're touching overhead. Exhaling, coming up. I swear this one is way harder to do after doing full sit-ups. Like every single muscle fiber of my core is extra engaged today. Great job. We're almost there. Keep using that core. Remember, the slower you move, the harder it's gonna get. 3, 2, 1. All right. 2 more to go. We have our twists and then our dead bugs. And then we're just going to do a stretch or 2. We're going to be good to go for the rest of the evening. 3, 2, 1. So if you have dumbbells, we have them up, keeping our hips under our shoulders. We're exhaling as we twist back, really using that core to pull us back to center. So we're not just twisting haphazardly, we're being intentful with the way we are moving. 3, 2, 1. All right, we have made it to our last exercise. We've got our dead bug hold, and then I'm ready to lay down for a little bit because my core is tired. All right, we're holding this dead bug. 3, 2, 1. Push that belly button in the ground. Focus on the breath. Keep that core engaged. We don't want that low back to come off the ground. So we're really just actively pushing our belly button into the ground as we hold. Keeping that core engaged. We're doing great. I feel like I'd rather hold this forever than ever do another plank again, especially after the way we ended class on Thursday. Whew, man. 3, 2, 1, and we are done with today's class. We only have a little bit of time for one cool down movement. So what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and do our figure 4 stretch. We're going to stretch out our hips a little bit just because I think that'll feel nice for us right now after we've done that. And then we get to lay on our back a little more. So we're just going to lay down on our backs again. We're going to cross the right ankle over to the left knee. And if that feels good, stay there. We can go ahead and interlace those fingers and grab onto either our shin or behind the knee, whatever feels good. We're going to pull that knee to our chest. We're going to do 3 breaths here. That deep breath hurts my abs. And one more big deep breath here. And we can go ahead and gently release that leg. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I know sometimes our low back can get a little bit tight from doing a lot of core. So we're just going to stretch this out a little bit. And we're going to go ahead, interlace those fingers, grab either in front of the shin or behind the knee, whatever feels good. We're pulling that knee towards the chest. We're doing 3 big deep breaths. And let's do one more big deep breath. And we can gently release that leg. You're more than welcome to stay there laying on your back, or you can return to seated, kneeling, or standing, but that is going to be all the time I have for this afternoon's abs and core class. So thank you for joining me. Nice job. We do have lots of classes tomorrow. We got a boot camp in the morning. We got boot camp in the afternoon. We got yoga at 12:30, and then we've got stretch break at 3. So we got a lot going on. Oh, and then Zumba 4:30, Pilates at 5. We got a lot of classes tomorrow. So check those out if you like. But if not, I'll see you in a different class at some point this week. But thank you for coming.